I think that most people are scared to do stuff because they're not sure if it's gonna work. But it's definitely not gonna work if you're gonna just keep talking to each other. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, if you don't take any action.
Yeah, I mean, it's guaranteed that nothing's gonna happen if you keep talking to each other. And there's a high percentage chance that it won't work out. But at least you won't regret it in 13 years that you never did it. Regret is the poison of society. You know, like, you just gotta get, you know, I think the thing to think about is, like, what are you gonna get made fun of by your friends because your YouTube channel didn't do well? Who gives a shit? What are you? You know what I mean? Like, you're not in junior high.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, of course.
I started out a business last year and it failed, right? And I learned so much from that where I could grow more from that. So those things are starting up, you learn from that and you can grow and become bigger from that.
And there's people who fail 16 times in a row and decide to never try again, but at least when they go into the ground, they knew they took a fucking swing.
Have you had any failures of recent years, businesses or?
Like, yes, in the micro of them, not in the macro. You know, but I'm also an extremely experienced operator who like has a really good sense of like what he does. You know, like most of the business, like I'm extremely good at my craft, but I would fail at most things that I wasn't good at my craft and I was doing for the first time. Like, you know, I got my ass kicked the first time I played pickleball. I'm taking up jiu-jitsu in September. I don't think it's gonna go very well the first year. I have a funny feeling I'm gonna get hurt and lose a lot. Like, you know, so, you know, for me, in business, you're now talking about the place I've been training since I was 6, like, and I had natural talent in it. And I don't even logically know how to launch a business that would fail. Like, I don't even know how to do that. No different than people here couldn't fail at the thing that they were meant to do. Like, if you're funny or like, if you have athletic ability, like, some people are just athletic. And the first time they do anything, it's gonna be pretty fucking solid. They'll hone their skills, but they're athletic. I'm not capable of starting a business that's gonna fail if I'm running it. I've had a lot of failures where I'm like, kind of like partners with someone and I'm not doing it, or I'm like helping out, but if I'm driving the fucking car, there's no fucking chance. But that's also because I'm 40 years into practice and I was naturally good at it. If you've never done it, if you go from never doing it to having a business, well, that makes a fucking ton of sense. Like, if I was forced right now to sing a fucking concert, it would be a fucking shit show. You know, but do I think in 13 years I could put on something that was at least serviceable with 13 years of fucking singing lessons? I do. At least serviceable, probably not good because it wasn't I'm not fucking Beyonce. But it would be a hell of a lot better than if I just went out there and sang fucking 9 songs right now. There'd be like 3 people left in the fucking crowd. You know, so I think we don't talk enough about that with business. Everyone's like, I'm just gonna be a creator and I'm just gonna run a business. I'm like, okay, fucking mazel tov, but like, if you've never fucking tried, like, this is gonna be gnarly. You know, like, I made videos on YouTube in February of 2006 every day, till today. I've made video content on the internet every day since, pretty much. I mean, there's, you know, and so like, that's a lot of practice. But the first time I spoke in 2007, it was good, because I was naturally talented at it. And then I got better. And so like, people spend too much time wanting to be something they're not, instead of analyzing who they are, and then you make decisions. Back to that question, you just might want to be a rapper, and it's okay to be a non-commercially successful rapper because it gives you tremendous joy, and if you live within the means of what you've been able to accomplish with being the 70th trillionth best rapper in the world, that's a happy life. These are the convos we need to have more of.
What's your thoughts on, you know how there's like the 80-20 rule, yeah, for making money? So like, in business, venture towards what that 80% is that makes you the most, and then whatever else is left over is the 20%. What if that 20% is the shit that you really love to do, but it's not making that much money, and the 80% is what's making you all your money? Like, would you split that lower to 50-50, or would you keep doing the 80-20 until the 20 becomes 40 or something?
My goal would be for the second thing to be 100 and then live within the means of what that provides. I think that's the ultimate goal of a human being. Like, I really question the concept of the next variable after one makes the money. So if you think about it, right, you're saying, hey, 80% is where it makes the money, 20% is what brings me the happiness. If we're having dinner for 4 hours and become great friends, over time, I'm looking forward to it, from scene to best friends, right?
Yeah.
To me, the question I have with all the people that most are important to me is, let's just play this out. Like, what's the money for? How much money? For what? And what ends up happening is, what I know is that when how old are you, Dad?
51.
I'm 47, right? So we're in a different place than a lot of people in this room. I know that the people that I talk to that are a generation above us, 82, 91, the money talk starts to dissipate very quickly. And so the question becomes, my recommendation is to spend as much time as possible on the 20%, because happiness is just so much more sustainable. And more importantly, what are you doing with the money that you make on the 80%? I think most people are buying a proxy to happiness, not actual happiness. They think they're buying happiness, but it's not their actual happiness. And so I'm very fascinated by that question. I would push you as much as possible to the other stuff, as much as humanly possible.
This is the 20% vlogging.
Good for you, brother. And if vlogging is your 20%, then you're starting to go into my territory. My happiness comes from being a businessman. When I was 5 or 6 or 7 or 30, when everyone in high school was trying to party and hook up and have fun, the most fun thing for me was going to the flea market and selling shit. That was more fun for me.
Yeah, I'm a big collector, so I enjoy
You know what I mean? I really like it more. I like it more than going to a concert. Though I understand that that's a minority, I can't help my chemicals. It is more fun for me to go to the baseball card show or to work at my dad's liquor store stocking shelves than to do what most people find fun. That worked out for me because what I find the most enjoyable and fun that I was naturally good at also has a direct correlation to creating money. If your fun is vlogging, that has a direct correlation to making money because you're building brand and awareness.
Yeah, it's just my 80% is different content at the moment. So I'm trying to transition content. I've still got employees to pay and stuff like that.
I totally understand. The question, the other side of the pillow of what we were just talking about is the tolerance for the 80%. The other thing that's interesting is when you're doing something that is paying for your livelihood, where are you? Are you in, I used to fucking love it, and now I just like it? That's fucking amazing. I kind of used to like it, and now I'm just kind of whatever with it, neutral, still pretty good. I've never really loved it, and now I fucking hate it, now I'm starting to get scared. That's where I've seen so many of my friends and so many people for so many years starting to get into a dangerous place because hate it starts to leave opening for them to take their money and spend it on shit to close the gap on them hating their day-to-day, which gets into dangerous territory. So, for all the people that are tolerating or going through the reality of there's something that provides you the money and you're not doing your passion, I just need to know where you sit on that. Kind of okay, I can tolerate it. When it starts bleeding into I hate it, you have to be careful.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome, brother. Because what I see so often is when they hate it, then what they're using their money for is to close the gap on pain, and that gets into alcoholism and drugs and thrills and womanizing and just all the stuff that can really ultimately lead to hitting rock bottom emotionally. It's very clear to me, 15, almost 20 years later, everyone here has gotten to a place based on their talent, their creativity, their work ethic, and like anyone in anything, then, especially in this game, with an audience, you then hit a place. You're in a place. Of course you can keep growing, but there's a place. And I think the thing that I'm most fascinated by is if people could really take that next step with themselves and say, okay, I've been producing in a manner that has a lot of energy towards what am I gonna get out of it. I wanna be famous, I wanna make money, I wanna send them to our page and turn them into a paying customer, I want more followers, I want more likes, if you can make that shift to, why would anybody wanna watch this thing that I'm about to post? It can make them laugh, that's escapism. You may be an attractive person, that brings value. You may give business advice. There's a million reasons why something could be valuable, but really starting to push yourself into, like, what's very clear, what works for me and what I see in others that take the next steps is genuinely like pushing yourself to try to provide actual value, actually. And so that's it, it's not a super complicated, it's kind of like, I think of these things similar to the way I think about health and fitness. Like, it's not that complicated to get into better shape. Like, there's a calorie situation, there's a protein situation, there's going to the actual gym and doing it. Of course, there's technique if you want to maximize your muscles, but the reality is it's not so complicated. It's hard to do, right? You know, it's what I just said is profoundly simple. Do you think every time you post, how is this actually bringing value? Or do you think about this is gonna do well and get me more followers? Or this is gonna lead to sales of a t-shirt, or this and that. And so, I think people should worry about what they want. I'm talking about a group like this that's already gotten to a real place and is thinking about how do I get to the next place. And I think adding the element of selflessness is an incredible formula for growth. And it feels nice.